I'm going to try to tell a story of so many God winks that my daughter had to call it a divine design. I said, I really like that. So many God winks that it's a divine design, not just one God wink. I'm going to tell you the story of how we came to acquire our two waterfront lots at Lake Royale. You know, I'm a teacher, and my teacher, Jesus, had to teach me hands on Micah 4:2. So Micah 4:2 says, I will teach you my ways and you will walk in my paths. Now, I've come to learn that God's ways are much better than my ways. And I want to tell you the story of how all this happened and how truly it's better to rely on God's ways than our ways. In 2019, we purchased 3 interior lots at Lake Royale, and we had them for 4 years, exactly to the day, March 30th. So when we purchased that lot, I felt in my spirit immediately that it was something we needed to buy, and Tom felt the same way. Well, we walked across the street and to say hello to our new neighbors. Actually, they were coming to meet us, and they said, are you the sellers? And we said, well, actually, we're the sellers, but we're the buyers, and we hope you like us because we're your new neighbors. And they had actually come to talk to the sellers of the property so that they could purchase the property, but we had just bought it. I talk about a close call. That was a close call. So we bought that property in 2019. And we enjoyed it. We cleared the land and put in a septic system and underground power and worked at the lot and enjoyed it. But our neighbors at the corner used to have yard sales all the time, and they were unsightly. Well, I don't want to say they were unsightly, but their property was unsightly because they had stuff in the yard all the time, and it was very unsightly. So one day we rode by, and these were our neighbors, but we weren't really close to them, but we were social when we said hello. And so we walked by that day, or drove by rather, and this is why it's so important to just follow the leadership of the Holy Spirit, because had I just driven by and just thrown up my hand, I wouldn't be having this video today. We drove by and I threw up my hand and I said, Tom, stop, back up. So he stopped and we backed up, and I rolled the window down and I said to my friends, my neighbors, I said, how are y'all doing? And they said, well, we're getting ready to move. I said, where are you going? And they said, well, we're moving in with Teresa's mother. And I said, what are you going to do with your property? And he said, it's going to be for sale. I said, what do you want for it? And he said, $50,000. I said, well, do you think you would take any less? Because I know somebody who might want it. So he said, I'll take $45,000 for it. So we said, okay. So we went down to our friends on the corner and we said, look, this property is going to be for sale. You might want it. And they went down and talked to the guy, and they had a verbal agreement that they would buy it for $45,000. So I got to thinking about it, and I'm thinking, you know, I want somebody to fix that property that's going to really fix it up and make it look nice. And so it won't be so unsightly as you go into our property. So they had kind of a verbal agreement that they would buy it. So that weekend at church, they said, you know, we've decided we're not going to buy that property. We're going to do a build over instead. I said, are you sure you don't want that property? They said, yes, we're sure. And so I said, okay, because if you're not going to get it, I'm going to see if Tom and I can get it. And Tom didn't know anything about this at that time. So I got in the car and I said, Tom, they're not going to buy that property. I said, we should try to buy that property. Tom said, with what? I said, well, we could sell some toys. We could sell our Airstreams, and we could sell some of our vintage campers and our road trek. And Tom said, "You'd sell the road track?" And I said, "Yeah." In order to buy this property, it was $45,000, and we didn't want to go in debt because we had been out of debt for probably 13 years, and God worked a miracle with us to get out of debt. So we didn't want to go in debt again. So I said, we can sell our toys. So Tom said, okay. So he got busy and trying to get all the money together so we wouldn't have to borrow money and we could buy that corner lot. Beautiful lot. It's two lots, and we got a septic permit to perk, and so it would have been a beautiful lot right on the corner where we were, and we would have sold our property, the 3 lots we already had, to buy the 2 lots. And so we called the guy when we came back to the lake, and we said we would like to make an offer on your property. So we had a contract with him for the $45,000 as he was going to sell to our friends. So we had the lawyer draw it up, and we got ready to close, and the lawyer called and said, "You can't close on that property. It's got a $68,000 judgment on it." So, I was so disappointed. So in the meantime, Tom says to me, "Honey, that little boat ramp lot that you like is for sale again." And I said, "Okay." So we went down and we looked at it, and I had my heart set on that boat ramp lot. Since I couldn't get the corner lot, I really wanted the boat ramp lot. But he wanted $129,000 for it. And I just really didn't think it was worth it. Probably more than 60 or 70. But in my flesh, I wanted that lot since I couldn't get the corner lot. And I really wanted to be on the water. And this was a lakefront piece of property. So we made an offer of $85,000 because that's really the cash we could come up with without borrowing any money. And of course, he turned it down. We offered $90,000 because I think we sold another little camper or did something to free up some money. So we offered $90,000 and he turned that down. So he came down to $119,000 for the property. And in my journal, I was writing, okay, either the boat ramp lot or the corner lot, because the corner lot was going to be under foreclosure and it was going to be auctioned off at the courthouse in June, and this was in November. But let me back up. In August, before that November, there was a little lot called the Rock Lot that I loved 4 years ago. And it had a little vintage camper on it, a little 1967 fan, vintage camper on it, and Tom and I walked on the property. It had a for sale sign, but it didn't have numbers on it because the numbers had long faded away. So, but I loved the lot. It was on the water also, and it had a wooded lot next to it, which wasn't for sale 4 years ago when we bought our interior lots. But we couldn't have afforded waterfront lot anyway at that time. So we had the offer in for the boat, not for the boat ramp lot, but well, we put in the offer for the boat ramp lot. And the wooded lot next to the rock lot that we had looked at with the little vintage camper, it was for sale. They wanted $60,000 for it. But I wanted the boat ramp lot. And we actually had come back to the lake. We had sold the road trek and we had freed up some money, and we had enough money, especially with selling our 3 lots, that we could pay for the 2 lots. Actually, it was the wooded lot and the rock lot. So, but the rock lot was not for sale, but we had written the owner of the rock lot back in August. This was before November, and the corner lot and the boat ramp lot would be for sale. We wrote her and we asked her if Tom had found her number on the internet, and I wrote her and told her that we liked vintage campers and we were interested in her property, but we didn't see any numbers, and would she be willing to sell it? And she wrote me back a little note, and she said, "I'm elderly and in poor health, and the property is not for sale currently." So I thought, well, okay. That was in August. Well, this November was when we made the offer for the corner lot. So in the meantime, we were making an offer for the boat ramp lot, which would have really been nice because I wanted to rescue it and make it really cute, and it was right beside the boat ramp lot. My daughter had her boat slip right there. It would have been very convenient, and for her and for us. And so but he wouldn't budge on the price. And so I called the realtor about the wooded lot that was next to the rock lot that the elderly lady said it wasn't for sale. And I was talking to her about the property, and she said, well, we're trying to get a septic permit, and a septic permit on the water it's really hard to get. So the fact that she was trying to get a septic made it more appealing to us, but I really had my heart set on the rock lot next to it. But Miss Joyce had said it was not for sale. So we started looking at the wooded lot. And the guy at the boat ramp lot wouldn't come down from the 119,000. And so I called a couple of times about the wooded lot, and this is where Micah 4:2 comes in. It was in February. It was the day after Valentine's, of February the 15th. And we got in the boat and we rowed down to the wooded lot. We pulled up underneath the maple tree and the river birch tree. And when we pulled up under there, I mean, we had to fight the briars and the brambles and vines. And I mean, we had to really, literally it was all we could do to get in there. But we docked under there. And something came over me. And I know it was the Lord, because I had wanted that boat ramp. Plus, I'd wanted the corner lot. But I had been saying, God, either the boat ramp or the wooded lot when it was foreclosed on and we could go to and bid. Either or neither nor, or both. And that was what I was kind of writing in my journal. And then when I looked at the wooded lot, I had told the realtor, I just really can't make a decision on that right now. And Tom was with me on all this, but he never told me he didn't want the boat ramp lot. That's a good man, a good husband that would just want what his wife wants. And in my flesh, I wanted the boat ramp lot. I didn't want the wooded lot. But when we pulled up under that maple tree at the wooded lot that day, I told Tom, I said, Tom, I feel exactly the same way we felt when we bought our lot at 115 White Oak, the interior lots. I said, I feel the same way. I said, this is what we should do. And at that time, they had a septic permit, which was really coveted. And I said, and it was only $58,000, or actually 60. I said, we can buy this without going in debt. And so I called the realtor, couldn't get up with her at first, and God dropped that desire for that wooded lot. And then I wanted it really, really badly. That's how he changed my mind from the lot that I wanted. I thought we had actually come to the lake preparing to offer $105,000 for the boat ramp lot and see if he would split the difference, because he'd come to 119. And if we offered 90, then we could split the difference and come to 105. But I didn't get to that, because when we pulled up under that maple tree at the wooded lot, next to the rock lot with Miss Joyce, the 92-year-old lady who said it wasn't for sale, I pulled up under there, and that's when God said, I will teach you my ways. So I thought, oh, this is what we need right here. So we called the realtor, couldn't get her because we didn't have a cell phone signal, so went up to my daughter's and called Wi-Fi, and I had my fingers crossed that the wooded lot would still be for sale. And she had told me, if you really think you want this lot, you might want to go ahead and make an offer, because we have an offer pending and a counter. And I said, I'm just not ready. I really kind of had my heart set on the boat ramp lot. But anyway, when he dropped that desire for the wooded lot in my heart, I said, Tom, take me back to the boat ramp. So he took me back to the boat ramp, and he walked up to the wooded lot to get the realtor's number to call. And I pulled up at the boat ramp lot, and I said, God, I said, this lot is not worth $105,000. I said, and I don't want $100,000 of our money tied up in this lot, because I really don't think it's worth it. I said, but you put it in my heart to want the wooded lot, and it's probably gone, but if it is, I am going to question you why you would drop it in my spirit that I wanted it if it wasn't for sale. But I said, you've done that before. You've given me something and taken it away and then given it back to me permanently. as you did when we bought our house that my daddy built in Tin City. That's another story. But I said, if it's gone, I know that I don't want this boat ramp lot. You've taken that desire away from me. And if the wooded lot that I now want is not for sale, I know that you have something even better. And at this point, I was learning to trust him because his ways are better than my ways. And so we called the realtor, and she said it was for sale. It was still for sale, that the other offer had fallen through. And I said, how soon can you get up to the lot? And she said, I'll be there at 3:30. So she came, and we wrote up a contract for the wooded lot. And in the meantime, the lot next to the wooded lot was the rock lot, and it had new, fresh numbers on the for sale sign. So I said, okay. So we made an offer, and they accepted our offer on the wooded lot. And the next door, Miss Joyce's lot, the rock lot that I wanted 4 years ago, it was now for sale with numbers on it. So I texted as they said. I didn't get a response. I texted again. Tom texted, didn't get a response. And finally, I went up to Amy's and I called, and I said, Miss Joyce, this is Peggy and Tom. I said, we wrote you back in August, and we inquired about your property, and you said that it was not for sale. But I see now that you have new numbers on it, and I'm assuming it's for sale. And she was asking $80,000 for that. I said, we're prepared to give you the full price offer, and we could close very quickly, but would you reach out to us? So Tom and I stood there that afternoon on the rock lot, and we said, God, and we already had the offer on the other one accepted. And I said, God, if you want us to have this property, you're going to have to work a miracle, because we can't make these people sell it to us. So didn't hear anything, and I had left the voicemail and went on back to our property at the interior lots, and we built a fire. And I had set a ringtone for Miss Joyce's number in case she accepted our offer, because I'd left a voicemail, and in case she had accepted our offer. So that night, about 8 o'clock, Tom said, your phone just made a strange sound. I said, oh, okay. So I looked at my phone, and it said a message from Miss Joyce, and it was her daughter. It said, my mother has decided to accept your offer of $80,000. And I said, awesome. I said, we could go to the lawyer and put some earnest money down. And she said, what are you thinking? I said, well, $2,000, would that be okay? And she said, that would be great. So we met with the lawyer the next day, and I just want to add here that we made the offer on the 15th, just as we did the other lot. And the very next day, one of the people who had the offer pending had put down $10,000 on the wooded lot, and we had just signed the contract, and the next day they came to buy that property. Talk about a close call also. So we accepted the offer, or Miss Joyce accepted our offer rather, and so we went to the lawyer. We had both of the lots, 2 waterfront lots side by side, virgin lots that had never been cleared, and one had a holding tank and the other one had a septic permit. So we had the lawyer draw up our deed. We got the water deed. We combined the 2 lots. We don't have to pay but one homeowner's dues, and we knew we could sell our interior lots and pay for these 2 lots and still be out of debt. Only God could work that out, and I'm just here to give him the praise for what he did. So we got the 2 lots and got them deeded, and I bet we have had at least 15 to 20 people stop in at our place as we were clearing it off and say, how in the world did you get that lot? Especially the rock lot. And because it had been for sale for probably 20 years, and realtors had tried to call, and nobody would get Miss Joyce to sell. And I actually texted her, and we started corresponding through text, and she's 92 but quite tech savvy. And I uncovered her little flower bed under 2 feet of leaves, literally. It took us 3 weeks to burn all the leaves from the 2 lots because they had been unattended for 20 years. So people would stop by and just say, I've always loved that lot, especially the rock lot. So we got both of those lots, and God showed me the meaning of Micah 4:2. Because hanging in my bathroom wall, there's a beautiful oak tree, and the scripture says, I will teach you my ways and you will walk in my paths. And that's exactly what he taught me. He showed me hands-on exactly what it would feel like for his desires to be my desires and for my desires to line up with his. And so as I sit here today, and I think you might can see our lot, there's the water, and let me see if I can go this way, and there's the lake behind me and the wooded lot behind me. So this is what God chose for me, and there's where I pulled right up under that maple tree, and I hope you can see that. And we are right on the water. And so I just wanted to share that with you because I know this video is a little lengthy, but I really wanted to write it down and tell you about the most magnificent plan God has, one of, well, not the most magnificent, but it really was so many God winks, and it was so many coincidences that they were not coincidences. They were God designed, and I'd like to call it the divine design. And while I was dealing with the journal saying either or neither nor, as it turned out, neither the wooded lot nor the boat ramp lot, but it turned out to be not the neither, the either, but both of the wooded lot and the rock lot. Let me see if I can turn around and show you our rock lot. Let me see if I can show you this while I'm here. I'll walk up this way and show you the rock. We call it our Ebenezer. Let me see if I can walk this way. I hope you can see the rock lot. Plus, we have a little 1967 fan. 1967 fan. And you know how we love our vintage campers. Let me just walk inside and show you. We've already cleaned it out. We're going to have a little bit. Do you see Miss Joyce Ann? I named her Joyce Ann because the woman who owned the rock lot was Miss Joyce, and the one who owned the wooded lot next door is Miss Ann. And so the two ladies, I named it Joyce Ann after both of them. And here is where we have our Ebenezer rock. This is not awesome. And I really, really appreciate you taking the time to look and to listen to what I want to call a divine design. Thank you so much for listening, and I apologize for the length of it, but when you follow God's plan for your life and you go with His ways are far better than our ways. And I thank God for His divine design, and I thank Him for putting Micah 4:2, I will teach you my ways and you will walk in my paths, because His paths are better than our ways. His path is better than our path. Hope you will learn to trust in Jesus as Tom and I have learned to trust that His ways are so much better than our ways. Thanks again for listening. Bye.